Imagine this for a second. You send a text message. Hours pass. Crickets. No reply. Suddenly, your mind just starts racing, right? Oh man, did I say something wrong? Or maybe, you want to ask someone out, or share a bold idea in a meeting, or apply for that absolute dream job. But there's this one heavy thought that just paralyzes you. What if they reject me? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the hidden and honestly fascinating mechanisms behind that exact agonizing feeling. So, why does it hurt so much? Seriously, why can just one single negative comment completely wipe out 100 glowing compliments? It's a question that's baffled us for centuries. But as you'll see today, the answer isn't some character flaw, and it's definitely not a lack of confidence. The real answer? It's buried deep inside the literal architecture of your brain.
Here is the truth. Your fear isn't weakness. It is ancient biology. This paralyzing feeling that literally stops you in your tracks is actually a profound survival instinct. By the end of this explainer, you'll understand exactly how evolution hardwired your brain to treat social exclusion like a literal life-or-death threat. And way more importantly, we're going to show you how to stop this ancient instinct from running your modern life.
All right, let's get into section 1, the ancient survival imperative, or rewinding the clock. To really get why our minds work the way they do today, we have to look way back, like 100,000 years back. Back then, you absolutely were not surviving alone. Early humans depended 100% on their tribes. They hunted together, they protected each other from predators, shared food, and raised children as a massive team. Literally, your entire existence relied entirely on staying in the group's good graces. Because think about it, if your tribe suddenly decided they didn't want you around anymore, your whole world collapsed instantly. No shelter, no protection, no food, zero allies. Out there alone in the wild, your chances of survival basically plummeted to absolute zero. And evolution? Well, it paid really close attention to that. The early humans who desperately avoided rejection, well, they stayed connected, they survived, and they passed on their genes to us. Generation after generation, the sheer terror of exclusion was hardwired right into our DNA.
Which brings us to section 2. The neuroscience of pain, when words break bones.
You know when you say, or you hear someone else say, wow, that really broke my heart, or that actually hurt? Well, scientists have made this incredible discovery. When people use phrases like that after being socially slighted, they are not speaking metaphorically. Not at all. Because it turns out experiencing social rejection lights up the exact same brain regions as physical pain. Your brain literally processes getting rejected the exact same way it processes a broken bone.
So, why in the world would evolution do this to us? Well, because pain means reconnect. Evolution basically used pain as a megaphone to grab our attention. It's like if touching a hot stove didn't physically hurt, you just leave your hand there, right? If rejection didn't emotionally hurt, our ancestors might have just ignored their relationships, wandered off into the wild, and, well, died. Feeling this emotional pain became a massive survival advantage. It practically forced them to fix their relationships and stay safely tucked inside the tribe. And I want you to meet the tiny piece of machinery running this whole show, your amygdala. It's your brain's tiny, ultra-ancient threat detector. Its job is incredibly simple. Spot danger and keep you breathing. When it senses a threat, boom, it triggers physical reactions. Your heart starts racing, your palms get super sweaty, your stomach ties itself into a knot. And the crazy part? It does all of this even when there are no actual lions or predators anywhere in sight. And that creates what is essentially a massive false alarm. You see, this ancient, primal part of your brain can not always tell the difference between an awkward silence when you're speaking in public and being life-threateningly banished from your tribe. Logically, of course, you know a critical comment on the internet won't kill you, but your amygdala, it has absolutely no idea. It just slams the panic button anyway.
Let's move to section 3, the digital amplification and cost. Having the tribe in your pocket. What's wild is that we've essentially hijacked our own biology. Think about our ancient environment. We were designed to worry about the social approval of maybe, 100 people in our local tightly knit tribe. But look at our modern environment. We walk around with our entire tribe in our pockets, constantly comparing ourselves to literally millions of people online. Let me be clear. Our brains were absolutely never designed to handle this massive, overwhelming scale of social measurement. But right now, every single like, every comment, every view is being processed by that ancient survival hardware. So the ancient triggers haven't disappeared. They've just shapeshifted. When someone unfollows you today, your brain essentially registers it as literal tribe abandonment. When a post gets fewer likes than you thought it would, your ancient hardware rings the alarm for a sudden drop in social status. Social media did not invent our fear of rejection. It just handed it a giant megaphone and left it on volume 10 all the time.
And honestly, the modern costs of this amplified fear are just devastating. Because of this terrifying feeling, brilliant people stay absolutely silent in important meetings. They avoid starting the businesses they dream about. They hide their unique talents, or they just stay stuck in really toxic, unhealthy relationships. And it's not because they lack the ability or the intelligence. It's because stepping out of line, standing out, and facing potential rejection literally feels like stepping right in front of a hungry predator.
But here is the supreme irony of it all. Your brain really thinks it is keeping you safe, but in reality, it is protecting you from the exact life you actually want. This fear of rejection is causing infinitely bigger losses than actual rejection ever could. Dreams get left unfinished, huge opportunities just vanish, and your true potential stays completely hidden, all to dodge a biological false alarm.
Which leads us right into Section 4, the rewiring protocol, overcoming the biological default. Now, here is the absolute best news you'll hear today. We can overwrite this ancient programming. Our brains can learn. Here's a super straightforward 3-step protocol to start overcoming that biological default. 1. Separate discomfort from danger. 2. Practice small acts of courage. And 3. Redefine rejection. Let's break these down so you can actually start using them right away.
Okay, starting with step 1, I really want you to ask yourself this specific question the next time that wave of panic sets in. Is this actually threatening my survival or just my comfort? When you take a breath, pause, and rationally look at the situation, you almost always realize that the perceived threat, like, say, sending a bold email or raising your hand to speak, it's just uncomfortable. It is not dangerous. Once you realize it's just discomfort, boom, you take the amygdala's power away. Then, through just small acts of courage, like speaking up once or applying for just one scary thing, you slowly teach your brain that putting yourself out there is definitely not fatal.
Finally, we absolutely have to redefine what rejection actually means. Listen, rejection is not proof that you aren't good enough. It is just information. It's simply data. It is a totally normal reminder that not every single person is going to vibe with your work or your perspective. And that is 100% okay. Remember, literally every single one of history's greatest innovators faced mountain-sized rejection.
And that brings us to Section 5, conclusion, risking rejection for success.
Every single time you feel that sharp sting of fear, I want you to remember that it is just an old instinct from a world that literally does not exist anymore. Seeking universal acceptance from everyone is completely impossible. Staying true to yourself matters so much more than getting some temporary, fleeting approval. The greatest achievements in human history come from the people who understood this one fundamental truth. Rejection isn't the opposite of success. It is the exact path to get there.
So, the very next time that ancient, survival-obsessed part of your brain whispers that paralyzing question, what if they reject you? I want you to challenge it. I want you to flip the script. Ask yourself, what if they don't? What if they completely accept you? What if you succeed way beyond your wildest dreams?
Or you know what? Even better. Ask yourself this. What if I reject my own potential by never even trying? Because at the end of the day, sometimes the most heartbreaking rejection you will ever face is rejecting yourself before the world ever gets the chance. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep challenging those ancient instincts, and I'll see you in the next one.